What is going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam. I hope you guys are doing phenomenal tonight, man. I hope you guys have all had a great Thursday. I hope you guys are ready for another live 2023 fantasy football draft. We're hopping into the Puppy 2 through Underdog Fantasy Football tonight. Super excited to be here with you guys. It's been a while since I've been on stream, so just so excited. I do apologize. I was going to run a stream a little bit earlier in the night. Had some stuff come up with the baby, but I just could not help myself. It is June 1st. It is fantasy football season. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got very little time to prepare for the coming fantasy football season and gain that competitive edge over our league mates. I could not help myself. I am so excited to draft with you guys tonight. So if you guys are new to Underdog Fantasy, you can, of course, double your first deposit up to $100 with promo code The Catch. And if not, hop in the live chat, guys. Either way, we're talking fantasy football tonight. We are going to have some fun. So hop in the live chat, hit that like button on the way in, hit that subscribe button, of course, if you guys are new to the channel. But as always, most important aspect, get in the live chat. Let me know what's popping. Any fantasy football topics, any NFL topics, whatever it may be, redraft, dynasty, best ball, whatever you guys want to go over, get it going. I'm just super excited to hang out with you guys tonight and get a stream going. So I'm hopping right into the Puppies lobby. You guys know what to do. There's 7 spots, 6 spots, going quickly, and I would love to have you guys join tonight's draft with me. Outside of that, I am also running a Superflex Dynasty startup mock draft on a separate screen that we had going off air just before I decided to hop on stream. So far tonight on our Discord, which is completely free, link is in the description down below, we have ran a redraft mock, and we are in the middle of a Superflex mock, and we will be hitting an Underdog draft tonight. So that is really, just throughout June, that is what I want to be doing. Is I want to be running multiple mock drafts with our community on a daily basis, getting you guys prepared for whatever style of fantasy football you guys want to play this coming season. So yeah, you guys know what to do. If you guys are new to the channel, subscribe, all that good stuff. But seriously, get in the Discord. We are running tons of mock drafts all day long, and we will continue to do so throughout the entire off season. So I will be doing multiple drafts for tonight's stream. I'll show you guys the results of the startup mock at the end of the stream, or if I don't know, we should be able to finish the mock and the Underdog draft around the same time. So we'll just kind of go from there, and yeah, if you guys want to see the results of that, I will show you that as well. So gonna be a little bit crazy, but I'm excited. It'll be a good first stream back, and I do apologize I was not able to get on earlier in the night as I was hoping to do so. All right, yeah, it's gonna be a little tough, but I'll be okay. And that looks interesting. I've got this mock going here, and then I've got the Underdog draft going too. But this might result in some pretty good teams. Outside of that, we just concluded our first community dynasty draft for our first ever community dynasty league, which is a single quarterback league. So this year we'll have 2 single quarterback dynasty leagues and then 2 superflex league or dynasty leagues as well. So a lot going on in the community, although I haven't necessarily been streaming as of late. And our first dynasty draft was just absolutely crazy. Like I wouldn't even know where to start. I'm gonna go. Man, I have so many Bijan shares already, and I don't feel bad about that whatsoever. It's just really hard. Even with guys like Hill Cup, Kelsey sitting here, it's just hard for me to pass on Bijan right now. So I'll just take Bijan, but eventually I'm going to have to limit some of that Bijan Robinson exposure. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I'm literally going to have to have a completely separate stream just going over our first dynasty draft because it was absolutely crazy. We had just a ridiculous amount of trades going on throughout the entire draft. We had some really good teams come out. We had some teams that will be probably very good in 2 or 3 years. We had so many different styles of drafting, and it was seriously, in terms of our community's first ever dynasty draft, I couldn't have asked for a better draft. So I had a ton of fun. I think my team's in a pretty good place, but I think my team's a little bit better built for the next year or so. And I mean, like, not this coming season. I don't know. I do think I could have a good year this coming season, but I think 1 or 2 things may have to go my way. But overall, I was just trying to really build a team that could compete right away, but also compete for a year, 2, 3 years down the road. Plus, I just got to the point in our draft where I was like purely drafting for value. I mean, just looking at who is the best available player on the board and just kind of went from there. It was seriously a crazy draft, but I don't want to get too much into that. Of course, you guys in the chat, if there's anything you want to bring up from that, I'm happy to go over it, but we're seriously going to need an entire stream just to go over the results of the first dynasty draft and kind of the fallout from it. And but yeah, that was a ton of fun. I really appreciate you guys who were a part of that, part of our first dynasty league, and we have got so much coming up. I mean, we've got both of our Superflex Dynasty drafts coming up. All these are slow drafts, so they won't be done through the stream. I'll just be kind of doing streams afterwards, going over everything. And then we've got that final single quarterback Dynasty draft coming up as well. I've still got to finish out filling that league. And then we will be throwing together the Catch Fam tournament for the year, our free redraft tournament. And outside of that, I will be having exclusive redraft leagues for our YouTube members as well. So like just so much going on, so much that I'm excited about for the community. And I just can't believe, man, it's summertime, which means in my eyes, it's fantasy football time. All right, let's see who's in the live chat tonight. Thomas, what's up, man? How we doing? Yeah, I like I said on Discord, I did have to cancel the stream, but I just, it's June 1st. Like I needed to be back tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like I needed to connect with some of you guys, and I just need to get on stream, man. So I'm happy to be here, although I'm like over an hour late and not doing exactly what I planned for the stream. Senior Cinnabon, J Dubs, what's going on, everybody? Good to see you guys in the house. Thomas, I know it's early, but ready for redraft leagues. I mean, that's, at the end of the day, man, like, it's redraft time. Like, we still have plenty of, in terms of dynasty, plenty of aspects that we need to be touching on. But seriously, like, it is the time of year to just start diving very, very heavy into redraft formats. And I'm just super, super excited about that. Jadeb says, nice puppy draft. Yeah, I was going to go Olave there, but I don't have a ton of Patty Mahomes exposure overall in Underdog quite yet. So I think anytime I can get him at a good value, like at 2.9, I'll go ahead and take it. But it is hard for me to still go quarterback that early. But like I said, if it feels like the right value overall, I don't want to pass it up necessarily. So I'll take him at 2.9, try to get some later round players that are obviously on the Kansas City Chiefs and try and build some nice stacks with Kelsey long gone off the board at 1.8. But I'm probably going to fade receiver. It depends on, I don't think this guy's actually drafting. I think he's like ghosted or something. But I don't know. I want to go Breece Hall or Jahmyr Gibbs right here. I love both. We'll go Breece Hall since we already have one rookie running back. Not that I'm worried about Gibbs. We're going to fade receiver tonight and see how it works out. We'll probably go receiver with like the next 4 selections. So we'll see. But I'm happy with Mahomes and 2 running backs that I'm really excited about going into the season. I think most fantasy managers are excited about out there. But yeah, I mean, anything, some of you guys in the chat were obviously part of that, one quarterback dynasty draft. So anything that you guys want to bring up, anything that you guys saw, or really just let me know how you guys feel about your teams overall. And I can pull up my team as well And, you know, there's only a couple of you guys in here. It's a later night stream, so we could potentially go over some teams as well. I don't know. I just feel like tonight, first stream back from taking a little bit of a break from streaming, we can kind of just go in a couple different directions if you guys want to. But I do have quite a few things going on already on separate screens here, but we should be able to get through it. All right. I'm going to build an interesting Superflex team on the other screen. Taylor says, my team stinks. Taylor, I actually like your team, honestly. I'm going to, let's see here. We have so many different leagues going on. Okay, here we go. Yeah, Taylor, I know you've said that like once or twice, but I think your team turned out not too shabby. All right, I got to keep an eye on a couple things here, but I mean, we've got Josh Allen. This is a single quarterback league, and Danny Dimes. I mean, I think that's a pretty good place to be at the quarterback position. And Bijan and Gibbs is like phenomenal. Your backup running backs are pretty shaky. I'm not going to lie there. I love Ayuk. I love Bateman. I think you got them at good value. KJ Osborne, where you drafted him, was fine. DPJ. I mean, yeah, like, listen, John Mechie, Shakir, Van Jefferson, Campbell. Like, don't get me wrong. The receivers are lacking studs. I mean, I love Ayuk. Love Ayuk, but obviously not going to be on the same level as guys like Bijan and Gibbs. Your tight ends don't look bad, though. I mean, Cole Kmet and Dalton Kincaid is actually a pretty nice combo. You got Jalen Hyatt. I mean, don't get me wrong. You are going to have some things kind of go your way in year one. But I do think that overall, like, you could easily make that team a very competitive team within the next year or so. I don't think your team's that bad, man. But I get it. Like, it does kind of hurt when you feel like, I don't know, because I feel like I'm kind of in the same boat where overall I still drafted a good overall team, but there's a couple pieces here and there where I'm like, yeah, I don't quite know if I'm going to be purely competitive right away. Because when you do look at some of the teams in the league, there are some there are teams that are going to be very competitive right away. So, but I don't think your team is too bad overall, man. Godfather, what's going on, man? Great to see you in the house. How we doing? So many trades I could barely keep up with who was trading what. I mean, yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. But it's exactly, I mean, like, we couldn't have asked for a better draft. It was a ton of fun. I felt like everyone had a good time. I know it was a little bit crazy here and there. I don't know. Yeah, there's not a way that I can necessarily pull up the draft board. So I'll have to look into that. Oh, here we go. It's hiding from you. Okay, I can pull that up in a second. But let me make sure. Let me get through this next round of picks on both drafts here, and then we'll go from there. This is fun. This is a good challenge. Cinnabon, my team is built to win in a year or two. J-Dubs, I'm trying to win this year or next. I mean, I think both you guys drafted well. J-Dubs, I definitely think your team will be pretty competitive right away, for sure. Cinnabon, I don't think you're in too bad of a spot. I think, like, our teams are on pretty similar levels. But I do think, J-Dubs, your team is built to win sooner rather than later. But I don't know. I still feel like your team is a pretty good balance. Man, I wanted Christian Kirk right here. I'll go Ayuk. I'll go Brock Purdy as my QB2 later on. Maybe QB3. We'll see. All right, on the board. I'll go a little hero running back in the second draft I'm currently running. Yeah, I mean, this dynasty draft was just ridiculous. I mean, you can't even like look at the board and truly understand like what team is what. I mean, you just can't. This sheer amount of trades that happened were ridiculous, and I was actually pretty excited to get a couple trades in, and I essentially just anytime I traded, I was just moving out of my spot and trying to acquire an additional selection, and I felt like I navigated that pretty well, but it also resulted in, I don't know, me acquiring some more youth. But yeah, I mean, literally, like, no. I think the only team that's parallel to their draft board is Smokies. Maybe Godfather. Yeah, Godfather and Smokey stayed true. Everyone else had a multitude of trades. So it was definitely intense. But like I said, for us to really go through this, I'm going to need to dedicate an entire stream, and I'll maybe do that Saturday night. Yeah, I don't. What is this? At the bottom, this is interesting. Anyways, yeah, I mean, just the draft board alone, just looking at it, like, gives me a headache. But it seriously was like one of the funnest drafts I've ever been a part of, and just really, really appreciate you guys as a community. And by the way, I'm like covering the entire screen with my face. I'm sorry, guys. Should help a little bit. Let's see. Taylor says Michael's team is crazy. Yeah, Michael's team is definitely in a position to dominate for I probably more than a year. Michael's team is looking very good, and Michael did a very good job of trading into the selections that he made, and then he did a very good job of continuing to move up on the draft board, and also at the end of the day, position himself to where even though he's in a win now mode, he is also going to be able to compete for quite some time. But you never know. You never know what's going to happen. So, wow, I almost missed my pick in the Superflex mock, but I'm good here. Got my second quarterback, and now I'm on the clock on Underdog. Okay. I can do this. I'm going to take a little bit of risk here. I'm going to go Kadarius Toney. I mean, there's better value on Chiefs players later on, but I'm going to take the risk of Kadarius Toney here, being that we have Patty Mahomes. And then I might try and get an additional running back in Pacheco at pick 76. Or I might just take another receiver. I mean, we're sitting with London, Ayuk, and Toney. We have two studs in Bijan and Hall at running back, and then obviously we got Patty at quarterback. So it's a tough pick here. I mean, it could go tight end, but I might just want to kind of bleed into the Chiefs' offense overall here. If I did go receiver, I mean, Jahan Dotson, if he's sitting there at 76, kind of tough to pass up, but we'll see. I mean, we still have 4 more selections till I pick, so we'll see what we do here. I don't mind Pacheco here whatsoever. All right, let's see. Cinnabon says, your team has a lot more holes. Yeah, I might not be just kind of going off the top of my head there, but I will get your team pulled up in a second here. We can take a look. Godfather made no trades this time around. Just wanted to keep what I had. Didn't want to risk making a bad move. Wait on what happens with D-Hop now. Yeah, I think overall there's nothing wrong with choosing to not trade in your drafts. I just wanted to kind of like, generally speaking, I don't do a lot of trading, but I felt like with everything that was going on, I just wanted to kind of join in and go with it. So it's going to be tough. Pacheco or Dotson, if they're both here. And this guy is just, I mean, this draft could honestly get booted because I don't understand. I mean, it takes Pacheco, of course. I don't know. I mean, I guess he could come out the gate and draft this many wide receivers. We've seen it happen, so I don't know. I'll take Dotson here, though. I'm happy with that pick. All right, let's see. Thomas, how did Smoking Cats turn out being they didn't trade? Also, would you be down to post the lineups on Discord? Yeah, I can definitely get that put together. Show you guys everything on Discord. I meant to I meant to post the draft board a while back. But I can get that taken care of for you guys so you guys can kind of see. And this is for a one quarterback league. So for you, those of you guys playing this, super flex leagues, it will be a little bit different, but still good for you guys to see nonetheless. In terms of how Smokey's team went, to answer your question, he kind of went for like a win now build. Let me get that accidentally closed out of that. So let me get that pulled back up. Let's see. There we go. Smokey has Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews with Garoppolo and Cousins. So actually, like, quarterback's not too rough. Hold on, let me make a pick or two here. This team I'm drafting, the Superflex team I'm drafting with you guys is going to turn out really weird. But yeah, I mean, he's got Jackson, Cousins, Garoppolo, quarterback. I mean, Garoppolo, very big question mark right now. Mark Andrews, Bellinger, Gesicki, not looking too bad there. Kupp, Diggs, Godwin, Burks, Tony, Tillman, Gallup, Laviska Shenault, Mixon, Kamara, Brian Robinson, Algier Mitchell, Jamal Williams, Jeff Wilson, Jalen Warren. So like a pretty win now-esque team. But I think that was just kind of how Smokey wanted to play it. So, I mean, it's not my favorite dynasty team personally. It's not exactly how I would want to build my team. But I do think overall it'll be competitive for a year at least. All right, sorry, I got to make this selection in 7 seconds. All right, there we go. So yeah, here's a look at Lamar Jackson, Cousins, Garoppolo. I mean, this was before like the Garoppolo buzz came out this past week. But yeah, I mean, a little older at quarterback in terms, but like, I mean, in a single quarterback league, that's fine, I guess. But yeah, wide receivers, I mean, like Burks and Tillman are kind of the younger guys on this squad. Then looking at Godfather, the other team that did not do any trades, T-Law, Levis, Hooker, Russ, and Trask, really capping out the quarterback position, which we didn't technically set a limit, but in Superflex there will be one. But Mayer and Ingram, Woods, tight ends look fine. I mean, quarterbacks will be fine. Like I am a huge fan of Trevor Lawrence right now. So like, especially in a single QB league, if T-Law's your guy, like I'm not worried at all. I love kind of like the short-term stack, having Evan Ingram, but I think for the long term, having Michael Mayer there is beautiful. So I think quarterbacks and tight ends turn out pretty good. Then Godfather went really heavy at running back, and I mean I will say like, which I don't necessarily have a problem with, but this draft ended up being much heavier at the running back position than I anticipated. But C-Mac, Barkley, Harris, then Foreman and Ibrahim. So really going to be relying on these three guys, which I think is realistic and fine. But yeah, I mean, the board is pretty running back heavy. McLaurin, Hopkins, Juju, Davis, Mooney, Dell. I love the Tank Dell selection. I thought he would go a lot later, and he was a player that I definitely had on my board. Boutte, Washington, Robinson. So, I mean, some good youth at the end of this draft at different positions, and even towards the beginning of the draft as well. So, I mean, Starting team's going to look at T-Law, C-Mac, Barkley, probably Ingram, McLaurin, Hopkins, Juju, Harris in the flex, and probably Davis or Moody in the flex. I think realistically is what makes the most sense. And then some good options in terms of rookies, younger guys on the bench. And, I mean, definitely some quarterback depth here for you, Godfather. But also know the Kyle Trask pick was like a mispick or whatever. We kind of had a situation there. So, but, yeah, those are your two teams without trades, how they turned out. To answer your question, Thomas. J-Dub says, felt like I nailed my late round running back moves. You definitely had some good success at the position later on in the draft. I mean, oh my God, it's so hard to look at. But A-Chain, he also had... didn't you have Charbs, and then he traded him to Shane? But Monty, Madison, Etienne, Dobbins, Ford, Carter, Zamir White. Yeah, I mean, I would say there's absolutely nothing wrong with that running back room, in my opinion. I would be pretty happy. I mean, especially with, like you're saying, going late round running back, I don't have a problem with that at all. So I would be happy. I can concur with your conclusion there. All right. Got to make an underdog pick. And then let's take a look at... What if I can... No, I can't. It's like the draft board is just all over the place. Okay, so Cinnabon. We got Burrow, Pickett. I think Pickett in the 15th was great for you, man. Freiermuth, Fant, Darnell Washington, a good tight end room for sure. Higgins, Moore, Metcalf, Brown, Cooper, Beckham, Tyler Scott, Jones, Dortch. Then at running back, we got Pacheco, Sanders, Roshan Johnson, Tajay Spears, Deuce Vaughn, Gainwell. So, yeah, a solid team for sure. Yeah, you're probably a step above me. I can agree with that. Sorry, back on the clock. Ooh, I'm taking Brock Purdy. Let's do it. Your wide receivers are in a very good spot. Like that's kind of the weakest part of my team is I think my flex position is a little bit lacking. So, I mean, you being able to start Metcalf, Moore, Higgins, flex Hollywood, flex Cooper, that's beautiful. You're in a very, very good position from that aspect. And then, I mean, you're looking at your starting running backs, right? Pacheco and Sanders. I think you're good to go there. You have Joe Burrow, as studly as anyone in the league. Someone who's going to get a fat contract, who's going to be someone you can rely on, who stays relatively healthy. And then Freiermuth as your starting tight end. Fant and Washington on the bench, a good place to be. You've got some good youth as well. Guys like Scott and Jones, very good values are where you got them. Washington, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, right, you have pieces of Pittsburgh's tight end room, like no matter what. So that's a positive. And then obviously having Kenny Pickett, you're going to have... you know, those values tied together theoretically as well. And, of course, you got the best running back in the whole draft in Kenneth Gainwell later on. So, I mean, you're doing good, man. I agree that you're and like I said, I was going off the top of my head, but your team definitely a slight notch above mine overall for sure. Wide receivers, fantastic. Starting running backs, good. Starting tight end, great. Starting quarterback, great as well. So, definitely in a good spot, my guy. Let's see. Cinnabon just started throwing darts at the end and was very happy to get a feature third for my final two picks. Yeah, it was a good trade for both you and Michael because he was going to end up having to just swipe whoever was left up off the waiver wire, being that he didn't have any selections left, and you were in a position where you got some capital for next year and didn't really have to give up anything. So definitely was a good trade for both you guys, for sure. J-Dubs, your round 8 trade set me up. Well, there you go, man. Cinnabon says Shane tried to trade me Charbs to move up. Yeah, I mean, there were so many potential trades that I'm sure never went throughout the draft that it'd be hard for any of us to keep track, right? But I'm sure there was a lot that went on behind the scenes that will probably never be even spoke about because it was just an intense draft overall. Be hard for us to really recall everything, but I guess it stays in the sleeper DM, so we can always look back. All right, I feel like I have to go Sky Moore right here. I mean, I probably didn't. I don't know. I might just go all in. I might go for Rashee Rice with my next pick as well, and just really load up on Kansas City wide receivers. Probably not the best move. I mean, I don't know. Jerick McKinnon's sitting here as well, though. I kind of need an additional running back right now. By the way, this is what the squad's looking like. Mahomes, Bijan, Brees Hall. Oh my gosh, I'm on the clock in the other draft. Alvin Kamara is my RB3. Drake London, Ayuk, Tony, Dotson, Sky Moore, and Ingram. So definitely in a position where I need to try and stay away from Week 11, which might result in me not taking another Chiefs player. But we'll see. Try and make it interesting. All right, on the clock in our Superflex draft. I need to go running back. Wow, running backs are like completely gone. Jeez. Okay. Go Zach Evans. Let's see. J-Dubs, I will pull up your team for sure as the next team. Yeah, I got to figure out who I'm going to draft next. It's just really tempting to go Rashee Rice or Jerick McKinnon, but the Chiefs aren't on bye in week 11. They're on bye in week 10, so that should be okay. Got two running backs already on the same bye week, so I might as well go McKinnon here, right? Depends. He might go to this team right here. Whew, close. All right, I'll take McKinnon, and we're good to go there. All right. J-Dubs. Oh, gosh. It's just all over the place. All right, Mahomes at quarterback, the first quarterback who went off the board. Carr and Mayfield behind him. I mean, it's a single quarterback dynasty league. I don't really care. Like, if you have Mahomes, you have Mahomes. You know, I'm not concerned. So I think Carr, Baker are fine. Probably want to look to draft a rookie quarterback when you can, but once again, like, you might not have to. I mean, Mahomes going into his 7th year probably gives you as much confidence as anyone ever has. I like that you went out and got Kelsey. Waller kind of felt like a power move, but I don't mind it. I was happy you got a younger guy in Cade Otton. But, I mean, there is something to be said about tight ends who've already proven themselves. I mean, Waller has an injury history, but like I've said it all off season long in dynasty formats, if you want to ride Kelsey into his retirement, I don't mind, and especially the fact that you have Mahomes to stack him with, like I just don't mind at all. But I was happy you got one young guy. I think your tight ends look great. Quarterbacks, like, I can't knock the quarterback room in any way because it's led by Patty Mahomes. ETN, Dobbins, A-Chain, Madison, Monty, Ford, Carter, Zamir White. Yeah, like we touched on already. Your running backs, the running back value that you got, very, very good overall. I mean, probably starting ETN and Dobbins going into the season, but you've got guys like Madison and Monty who can easily rotate in. You've got two really young guys in Ford and A-Chain who will probably see significant, I don't want to say significant, but significant enough touches this year that they can be fantasy relevant for you. Then Carter and White, good handcuff options later on. Two guys that gave you pretty good value. Adams, Debo, Pittman, Kirk, Robinson, Shaheed, Shark, Thornton, and Tucker. I mean, I do like your wide receiver room. Hold on. I might be on the clock here. All right, I will be in a second. But, I mean, you're starting Adams, Samuel, Pittman, flexing Kirk. Like, you're going to be able to start at least 4 wide receivers. And then Robinson and Shaheed are two guys who you can potentially very easily put in that second flex as well. And if you don't, I mean, you've got guys like Monty, H.A. Madison that you can put there as well. So a good team overall, man, well built. And I do think that your team will be competitive right away, as well as be competitive down the road as well. So, I mean, a good job of navigating the board and finding good value throughout the draft as well. So, I mean, I thought everyone did a very good job of drafting, and just overall, it had to be easily the funnest draft I've ever been a part of, hands down. So I'm super excited to see what in the world happens when we start to dive into our Superflex Dynasty drafts as well. So it's certainly going to be very, very chaotic. That's for sure. All right. This has been a very hectic stream. I feel like I've been keeping it under wraps, but we've had a lot going on. I'm literally drafting a Superflex startup mock, and then drafting this Underdog team, and going over Dynasty rosters, which is completely fine. I'm happy with it. J-Dubs Waller, Kelsey was definitely a power play to even against Michael's team. Okay. And like I said, I don't mind it. I don't. I mean, like, and once again, us just talking about your flex positions, like, you'll be in a position where you can also flex Waller if you want to, which is fine. Completely fine. All right, I need to take a look at this team. Okay, I got Mahomes, Bijan Hall, Kamara, McKinnon, Drake London, Ayuk, Tony, Dotson, Moore, Ingram, and Kmet. For some reason, I went like heavy tight end. So I could go with another running back here. Eventually, I'll have to take another quarterback. But like, I'm actually okay with risking that and just rolling with Brock Purdy because I got my homies, and that makes me feel pretty good. So 4 running backs. I feel like we could skip this tier, though, and just go into the next tier. I think actually going wide receiver, especially since the risk of Tony and Sky Moore being on this roster, and of course MBS is right here. But I think I'd actually like to take a chance on Jalen Hyatt right here. This team drafting before me is such a weird build, though. DPJ I don't mind here. Shaheed I like as well. He might be here at 165, though. Might be there. So let's take a little upside. Let's take a risk on Jalen Hyatt. And I just need to keep a close eye on Brock Purdy. And I mean, we do have Dotson as well. So maybe a late round. I mean, I got Mahomes. I could go late round for the rest of the guys. But get some running back depth here and then just kind of continue to fill out at wide receiver. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more spots. Yeah, running back depth, wide receiver depth, and get an additional quarterback or so is what we need to do. I actually feel pretty good about this Superflex squad I'm throwing together. But we'll see how it wraps up here. In the meantime, kind of take a look at my squad, I guess. But I need to make a selection very quickly. I'm going to go with the Shoemaker. I don't know if that was worth it. I don't know. I like a young tight end behind T-Hawk. I'll take it. And then let me make this next selection. I'm going to go against what I said. I'm going with the running back. Okay. So, yeah, this is what I ended up with in that single quarterback dynasty league. So, I got Herbert. I got Bryce Young. I kind of drafted Bryce Young, and I really wasn't planning on it necessarily, but I felt like there weren't a lot of teams at that point in the draft who had two quarterbacks. And I do like Bryce Young. Like, I wanted to add some youth to my team. And I did feel like it could potentially have an effect on the board. I mean, we saw Stroud go at 9.12, Tua at 10.7, and Prescott at 11.2. But then it took a little bit of a breather till Trey Lance went at 12.8, then Jones and Goff. So, I was happy with the value on Bryce Young there, and I wanted to see how it would affect the board. So I got him, and then when I went Mac Jones, like I just felt like at 18.4 there wasn't a lot of good value on the board, and I was kind of surprised that Mac Jones was still floating around, because I do think there's enough fantasy managers who are confident that in his third year under a new offensive coordinator, when you look at what he accomplished in his rookie season, that he could have success, and that a lot of last year really came down to the fact that Matt Patricia was his offensive coordinator. But a lot of ways to look at that situation. But nonetheless, I just felt like he was the best value there, and I felt like with Herbert, Young, and Jones, that was overall a pretty good quarterback room at the end of the day. So for a single quarterback league, I went tight end early. I did not expect to do that. That's the other thing. I really just like kind of read the board throughout the draft. And I went tight end early. So I went Hawkinson, and I'm not like upset about that. And I felt like Greg Dulcich at 12.4 was a great value. My last two picks ended up being tight ends, and I had to drop a player. I already dropped Hayden Hurst, which and then Latu is on my taxi squad. But I actually didn't like dropping Hayden Hurst because I think he's going to have a lot of good immediate value. But just when I was looking across my team, like, I'm going to be fine at tight end with Hawkinson and Dulcich than having a player on taxi squad. So it just came down to the fact that even though I think Hurst is going to have a solid enough year, like be able to repeat like 400 or so yards and like 2 to 4 touchdowns. And I mean, I did like the fact that I had him with Bryce Young, but yeah, I just felt like I had to drop him and keep the running back and receiver depth. But Rachaad White, my RB1. I took Swift at 7.4, and I definitely in no way was like planning to take Swift, but I just felt like when I was looking at things, he was the best value on the board. And as soon as I took him, like a lot of people in the league were saying, like, I can't believe Swift lasted that long, or I was about to take Swift. And I don't feel great about it, but I just felt like, once again, I was drafting for value, and Swift's my RB2. So like, not something I envisioned happening whatsoever, but hey, sometimes that's just what happens, I guess. But I took quite a bit of a breather at the running back position after drafting a running back in the 5th and in the 7th. And I feel like I needed like someone who could provide immediate value, so I went with Khalil Herbert. And I don't feel great about Khalil Herbert from a long-term perspective, but he's age 25 going into his 3rd year, still young, obviously, and can still probably contribute on a different team, hopefully, down the stretch. So, like I said, I didn't feel great about those two selections at running back, but I also wasn't like overly upset by any means. So I don't know. Evan Hull I loved at 16.4. McKinnon I loved at 17.9. Gray I was completely fine with at 19.9. So I think the second half of my draft in terms of running backs I liked a little bit more. Okay, wide receivers, Amon-Ra, Drake London. I loved that start. I was very, very happy with getting those guys as my first two selections. And this is where I kind of took a breather, right, between the 6th and 8th round. But through that stretch, obviously I got Swift, but also I got Reed and Rice. So I just wanted to get 2 rookie receivers. And I think I did an okay job of getting some immediate value later on, including Tyler Lockett at 8.9. But, I'm kind of in a position when you look at my team where, like, Alan Lazard and like Zay Jones or Tyler Boyd, Romeo Dobbs are going to be starters in my flex this year, and that's really the weakest part of my team is the flex position. So we'll see. I mean, I don't think it's. I don't know. I if things go my way, I think this team would be competitive. But I also think there could be some issues. I don't know. But yeah, wide receivers: Amon-Ra, Drake London, Reed and Rice, my two rookies. Tyler Lockett, Alan Lazard, Romeo Dobbs. So go Packers. Got a lot of Packers players, or two of them at the wide receiver position. Tyler Boyd, Zay Jones, Isaiah Hodgins. Like, I like this team just fine, but I do agree with you guys. Like, and like I've been saying, like there's got to be a couple things that really go my way. Like Swift has to stay healthy. I'm not really worried about Rashad White. I actually think Justin Herbert was pretty good value for me where I got him. But Amon-Ra, Drake London, I love. Tyler Lockett, obviously for the long term, not great, but short term, I thought he was a great value. And then like those two flex spots, right? It's probably going to be Alan Lazard, and then like it's going to be a rotation of Dobbs, Tyler Boyd, Zay Jones, maybe Jerick McKinnon, maybe Isaiah Hodgins. And then we'll see what type of value Reed and Rice give me in their rookie seasons. They're not on my taxi squad, so at least at the moment. So we'll kind of see how that shapes out. But I think all things considered, it was a good draft. But we'll see what happens. Okay, Brock Purdy is off the board, so that kind of is going to put me in a position where I have to draft Sam Howell over here. I actually like this team a lot, but I hope Zeke. I don't know. I've got Bijan and Breece Hall, so like I'm not really panicked at running back, but we'll have to see how things kind of shape out there because I got Kamari and Zeke, which holds a lot of risk. Ooh, Bryce Young feels pretty tempting here, but I just wonder. I mean, I could go Terrace Marshall late. How many more picks do we have? I don't know if Marshall will last that long. But I mean, yeah, let's take the upside in Young, I guess. Let's go Young. And then let's try and land our last running back. Ooh, but they're all just, I mean, like Zach Evans, Deuce Vaughn, Michael Carter, Izzy, Dwayne McBride. I mean, like there's names here. But I almost feel like I might be better just getting an additional receiver. Or maybe just going Sam. Oh, there goes Sam Howell. Okay. Yeah, now I'm in a position where, because Chuba Hubbard available, like just anyone tied to Bryce Young is who I want now. I might just reach on Terrace Marshall. I might do it. I wish you could. Can you just search by team? Oh, you can. So yeah, I mean, I could get Hayden Hurst late, but I really don't need another tight end on the squad. Laviska Shenault. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't really want to draft him. You know, I guess their coach came out and said they might try and use him like Debo. I think I'm just gonna reach for Terrace Marshall and then maybe go best available running back with that last pick. Or maybe take a dart throw at quarterback, like see if Baker falls out. She probably won't, but I mean, like when I'm building a stack, I don't. Richie James might fall out too. I don't particularly mind reaching for a player, so we'll just take Terrace Marshall here. That's fine. J-Dub says review Michael's team. Oh goodness. Yeah, I mean, people will see this team and just think that our league is like ridiculous for letting this happen. But I'll pull it up. Yeah, this, I mean, Michael just destroyed the draft. I mean, you really got to hand it to him. I mean, just a really, really good draft overall. All right, so I mean, an interesting move to start things off, right? I mean, he's got Prescott, Rogers, staph infection, Kyler Murray, and Stetson Bennett at quarterback, but he did originally draft Justin Fields, who he traded to Talks but acquired Garrett Wilson. So, like, yes, I personally would rather see Justin Fields as a starter, but am I upset with that quarterback room in a one-quarterback league? No, I'm not. And the fact that he got Garrett Wilson out of it, I'm not upset. So, Lamb, Wilson, Devonta Smith is stupid by itself, but then you add in Calvin Ridley, Mike Williams, Josh Downs, Josh Palmer, Nico Collins, Curtis Samuel, and A.T. Perry, a very good wide receiver. But really, it's those first three guys, Lamb, Wilson, Smith, like success at the position, barring any crazy injuries, for a long time. Ridley, Mike Williams, very good flex options. And I like Josh Downs on the squad as well. Did also draft JSN, who went to Talks, if I'm not mistaken. Or at least I think he drafted JSN. Unless I'm mistaken on that one. I'm trying to find JSN on the board. No, I don't know. I feel like that was part of the trade. Yeah, I think he did, and I think that he got moved as well. A lot of things happened in this draft. But running backs. Eckler, Stevenson, Pollard is stupid by itself. But then Pierce, Dalvin Cook, Pirine, running backs just perfectly fine. David Njoku was a great value for him. Jawan Johnson, Tyler Conklin, Ferguson. I mean, just a good team. But you look at the starting lineup here. It'll be probably Prescott at quarterback. Could be Rodgers. Could be Kyler down the road. But it's a single quarterback league. He's fine at quarterback no matter what. Starting David Njoku. Starting Lamb, Wilson, and Smith. Starting Eckler and Stevenson. Then those two flex spots. Pollard, Pierce, Ridley, Cook, Mike Williams. Like, there's a lot of options that all work. So, yeah, I mean, just a great draft. A very good job of navigating the board and moving around through trades. And, yeah, I mean, really had a good draft overall, man. Nothing else you can really say about it. All right, I'll probably go Michael Carter with this last pick. And hope he gets some touches. I mean, I got Breece Hall, so. I like the way this team turned out. Mahomes, Young, Bijan, Breece Hall, Alvin Kamara, McKinnon, Zeke, Michael Carter, Drake London, Ayuk, Tony, Dotson, Sky Moore, Jalen Hyatt, Rashid Shaheed, Terrace Marshall, Aaron Grimm, and Cole Kmet. I'm really not upset with that team at all. All right, here's the other team I was drafting. Superflex, Titan Premium, play 3 wide receivers, Dynasty Startup. So a lot going on during the stream tonight. Ended up with Burrow, quarterback, Rodgers, and Purdy. Hawkinson and Schoonmaker, tight end. A real draft, I'd want one more tight end. Pollard, Pacheco, Zach Evans, Zeke, Deuce Vaughn, Jerick McKinnon at running back. Drake London, Tyreek Hill, Brandon Ayuk, Jalen Hyatt, Tyler Lockett, Marvin Mims, Zay Jones, Terrace Marshall, and Puka at wide receiver. So yeah, I'd be okay with this squad. But I probably want one more tight end I can trust sprinkled in there. But, I mean, I'm going to be pretty set with Hawkinson. So that was going on as well. There's a slight review of our first Dynasty draft. And there's an Underdog team for you guys. So, there's your stream for the night, ladies and gentlemen. Title was the 2023 Fantasy Football Draft, but we did all kinds of things tonight. So, happy to be back with you guys. Happy to be back in streaming. Thank you guys for letting me take a little bit of a break. And I definitely miss being here with you guys. And just excited to get back into the groove of things. Excited to head into June, to the summer, and into the fantasy football season. So I appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys hit that like button if you haven't done so already. If you guys are new to the channel, check out the links down below. Subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. And I will be back on tomorrow. Not exactly sure what tomorrow's stream will consist of, but we'll be back on either mocking, drafting, viewing dynasty teams. We'll be doing something. So thank you to those of you guys who hung out tonight. Michael. Oh, Michael's not here. He's the last name in the chat, though. Thomas, J-Dub, Cinnabum, Taylor, Godfather, and everyone else who stopped by, everyone else who hung out. Thank you guys. And thank you guys for being understanding tonight and coming out to the later stream as well. So full steam ahead, guys. Fantasy football is here. It's fantasy football time. Super excited. I really, truly am. And I just really appreciate all your guys' support throughout the off season. But for me, once summer's here, it's no longer the off season. Like, this is prime fantasy football preparation time. So I'm just excited that we're here, guys. And just going to try and kind of ease in to things with just kind of streaming through the weekend. And then after that, I will be having a lot more content coming out for you guys as well. So thank you guys for everything you guys did this off season. And thank you guys for letting me take a little bit of a break. And just super excited, guys. I really am. So I hope you guys enjoyed the stream tonight. All over the place, but nothing wrong with that at all. And like I said, I will be back on tomorrow. So love you guys, man. Love this community. Love the Catch fam. And with that, I will say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on the Catch. And peace.